Perfect. It looks like we are live. Oh, hey, Cam.
Hey Alex, how are you?
Good. Oh, there goes the My Devices page. I thought it was a recording of you for a second because I didn't think you were going to be here. I was like,
No,
wow.
it's real. I'm
Yeah.
real.
For anybody watching, you've probably seen Cam's face. So now I just assume it's everywhere. But let's see, we're at 1 o'clock. Thanks everyone so much for joining. I think we're live now on YouTube, LinkedIn. I think that's it, right?
That's it. Yeah, I'll jump over there and man the chats over there, and everybody else, if you want to say hello, where you're calling in from today, and yeah, throw in the chat your name, your location, your company name, any questions you have right off the bat. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep. And before we get started, and I know we're going to wait probably a minute or two to give everybody an opportunity to get here. But like Cam said, feel free to go ahead and throw any questions in the chat. We're going to spend some time ripping through what myDevices offers and then getting into some questions that we could answer either live or post. We're really curious to hear about what kinds of projects you guys are working on as well. So feel free to throw those in the chat. That may help us to customize things a bit. We'll give it another minute or two before we get started. This is pretty exciting. It's our first webinar of the year, so we haven't been around in a few weeks. So it's nice to be back.
Yeah, I know. I think we did the last one of the year with you as well, and now we're starting the year with you also. So,
That has to be good. That has to be a
it's
good
a
luck
good thing.
sign.
It's a really, really good thing. So for everybody that's out there that's joining, again, we're going to wait a couple minutes, let people settle in and all of that. But this year I'm really, really optimistic about the state of IoT and sensors and solutions, and I'm seeing some of our partners and their forecasts for this year based on budgeting that we did last year and expectations for growth this year. It's really, really optimistic about everything that's going on in the industry. So I'm not sure if you guys share the same sentiment or, what you guys are seeing out there in the wild from your guys' side, or Alex from the calls that you've been on. But I know from my view, adoption is up in general of sensors, acceptability, prices are down. Sensors are starting to get, better yet cheaper, which is great. So the industry, I think, is really evolving heavily. I think COVID had a huge impact on that, but it's being accelerated now as the economy, starts to level its feet a little bit to try to, figure out, things are becoming more reasonable, I would say, more realistic, and automation and sensors are a huge part of cost savings for large enterprises, and also just more, just better maintenance of assets and equipment, more, modern, I'll call it, maintenance of equipment. So we're seeing a lot of just sensors going on anything and everything that, traditionally would be manually maintained. Inspection checklisting software, CMMS platforms, building management systems, all of these things are starting to evolve to a place where sensors are really the foundation of most of those softwares, and we're at the middle of that. So really kind of some interesting stuff. But anyways, today, and I know, Alex, you probably have some slides or things that you want to show, and I might hijack this from you. We'll see how it goes. But because there is some really, really cool stuff that I want to share on this webinar that we launched in the beginning of this year, sort of a soft launch. We haven't done any email blasts about it, and we didn't even advertise it. So folks coming onto this webinar, you guys don't even know that we're going to be showing this, but we've on our website now, we've got the ability to go through what we call our try free. So just like any SaaS platform that you would see in the world, whether it's voice over IP or if it's a project management software like Asana or anything else, you see these try free capabilities. Well, in the IoT industry, try free is hard because you need a physical sensor to talk to a platform in order to get the data through. And there's all this mush in between that you have to do in order to get a product working and a dashboard and integrations and all this stuff. But we've worked with our library of decoders and all of that, so that we have all of our device templates and decoders, and we've built simulated sensor data that can build a dashboard automatically. So we'll show that today. It's really exciting, but it allows for try free. So those of you that have projects and just kind of want to see, will this dashboard fit? Do the integrations work with my platform and all of that, without having to buy hardware or get a license and things like that. You can do some basic testing before moving forward to that next step. So I'll share that with you today. But Alex, is there anything that you wanted to share, or should I dive into some of that, or is there anything that you want to go over?
I was gonna give some quick background, but if you want to go into some of the new things we're working on, I don't want to steal that shine from you because you seem so excited.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, guys, and just we'll go through our new site as well. So those of you that are new to myDevices might not, well, obviously won't see a difference, but those of you who've been following us for a while, you'll see some updates here. But so I'll provide the background of our company just so you guys are aware of who we are. We can lay the foundation. But at the end of the day, our company specializes in simplifying sensor deployments, and that's our main message. And the types of customers or partners that we work with are companies like T-Mobile, Aramark, Sodexo, U.S. Department of State. You know, we've got multiple countries deployed, dozens of countries deployed, basically this like little mini smart cities, essentially. Also companies like Honeywell, Cisco, Brightly, who was just acquired by Siemens, Safety Culture. They have an iAuditor platform, which we can show. It's pretty cool. But these are the types of businesses that are our customers that are taking sensors and deploying them downstream to their customers as a part of their traditional business. So we're integrating sensor data into work ticketing platforms or building management systems or operational systems. And what we're providing these customers, and what we provide all of our customers, is all of the fundamentals needed to simplify sensor deployments. So it starts with the hardware. So we've got over 1,100 different sensors and gateways in our inventory that are cataloged that allow our partners to have a single source to purchase any sensor for any use case. So instead of navigating the world and trying to find the right sensor from the right manufacturer and having multiple POs open and shipments coming from multiple sources, we become that single source for any sensor for any use case. We also provide solution templates. So we've kind of narrowed in different verticalized solutions, whether it's air quality or HVAC monitoring or leak detection or temperature monitoring. We've got the templatized dashboards and visualization, alert thresholds, and all of that for those solutions. Probably most importantly is our integrations capability. We've created a universal sensor API. So with one API, by connecting to our backend through webhooks, MQTT, REST API, one-click integrations into Salesforce, Azure, AWS, right? With our list of APIs, we can make 1,100 plus, really any sensor, any IoT sensor, instantly compatible with any platform. We're kind of the middleware that connects those two things. So it's a streamlined integration. And then on the back of that, we provide a bunch of professional services. So inventory and warehousing, so pick, pack, ship services, provisioning and configuration services, also really important installation services. We can actually send people to the location to install the equipment if needed, to run trainings, to do maintenance on a regular basis. So it's all of these different components that traditionally, you know, these companies and you know, hundreds and hundreds more that would need to source all these things from different providers and then glue them all together. We're providing all of that through a single source so that, you know, you as our customer can focus on your deployments to your customers. So, and that's outlined in our site here. There's some, you know, it can go much deeper on all of this, but these are kind of the different products that are included in this kind of all-inclusive offering. But what I'd like to share here is our try-free process. And I'm actually going to throw this link here in the chat for anybody that wants to do this with me. So if you just go to app.mydevices.com, it'll take you to this free account sign up page. So feel free out there, if you guys are watching, I just threw in the chat this link here. And all you would need to do is just throw in some contact info in here. And I will do this in real time here. I'm going to add some numbers here because I've done a lot of these test accounts. So what we're doing is just creating our app, basically. So it's going to be, you know, Cam's app at app.mydevices. So it's kind of a test realm, so to speak. And then once you click sign up, this is going to take just a little bit to load. You'll see why it's a little, you know, just a few seconds here. But what we're doing is we're now aggregating. What the system's doing is it's first of all creating that domain that we put here through automation. And then now it is actually aggregating simulated sensor data from about 30 or 40 sensors, collating about a month's worth of data, and it's going to dump those all onto dashboards. So you'll see that in a second. And there's a quick commercial here while it's loading that just shows kind of some of the features of the product and everything. So we talked about this kind of just a second ago, custom dashboard solution templates, mixing and matching any sensor. But once this loads up, you'll actually see the guided tour pop up here, and you guys can walk through this tour, which shows you all the features and functionality of our product. So if you tap Let's Go, you'll see this checklist over here, and you can go in any order you want, but you can kind of just click through there. But I'll show you just really quickly, you know, what you're looking at here is we've dumped in an example location. So if I roll that up, this would be a location where sensors are deployed. And if we open it, we can see there's air quality sensors. There is a piezoelectric, that's a vibration predictive maintenance sensor. There is a level sensor that can do fill level on tanks and trash bins. There's an electric submeter, so we can actually see current and amps and power, energy, machine runtime. And you can see that these are filled with data. So we've actually got simulated data in here. So this acts like a live dashboard. And at any point, you can push these buttons to actually send a simulated packet as well to update that data threshold. So we'll get into this, but if you want to test integrations into your system, you can send simulated packets very easily to test that connection. On the left here, you'll see there's an air quality dashboard that's preset. I can click on one of those air quality sensors and see our air quality dashboard. Now, of course, it's simulated data, so it's kind of oscillating here. But you can see temperature, humidity, TVOC, CO2, and all of that. And this is in a real sensor that you could purchase off of our site and would get the same dashboard with real data, but we're just simulating it here for you for ease of experience. Same thing with this one, an energy metering dashboard. So this is, the utility hot drop clicked on a meter, and I can see current, I can see temperature, I can see voltage capacity, and all of that. There's a predictive maintenance dashboard. There's a level dashboard. So all of these things are in here for you guys to visualize immediately, so you get a feel for how the product works in general. And by the way, you can customize these dashboards if you want to change the way they look by just dragging these widgets around and everything. You can also create a dashboard from scratch and visualize in any way that you'd like using these simulated sensors. So I can drag that sensor in there. Now I've got an air quality widget. There's some other visualization widgets here as well. So what I'm going to do for you guys, if you didn't sign up, if you guys sign up, it's really easy. Go through that process and you can experience this. But even if you just kind of want a quick taste of this, what I'll do is I'm going to create a share link here for you guys. And I'll throw that in the chat as well, because what you can do here is actually, if you click on that link that I just put in the chat, you can see the shared version. I'll actually open that up as well. You can see the shared version of that dashboard, which is limited access. But what you can do is build the dashboard as a test, see if it works, share it with your client, share it with your colleagues, and see what their response is to it, and what if that visualization works for whatever project you might be working on. So that's the the try-free experience and the custom or the simulated dashboards and all of that. And I've got about 7 million tabs open, so I'm don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it back to that app that I just created, but that's so I guess any questions, just drop those in the chat. But that's something that I think, everybody on here in this webinar, go through the process. It's really interesting. It's just cool to see and be able to connect up to all of that, and just see kind of how easy we make things to work and how the visualization works. You can go through the checklist, which will show you how to add a device, how to visualize sensor data, how to create a dashboard. It'll also walk you through integrations. And I know a lot of our partners, like at MongoDB, for example, we were able to get a dashboard like this set up and open up a quick webhook integration into their platform. And using the simulated data, just validate that connector works the way that they need to. And they can mess with the transformation here to transform the payload to work and all of that. So all of that can be done in a matter of, you just saw that it took me about 2 to 3 minutes to get all of that set up. So pretty state of the art here, being able to mix and match. I think there's probably 20 or 30 different sensors on this simulated dashboard that you can get set up with in minutes to validate some projects and things like that. So, oh, John says my links aren't coming through. Well, that's a bummer. Oh, it's because I'm sending these links to myself. So John, thank you so much for calling me on that. I guess I am, for a leader in the tech industry, I don't know how to use my own tech. So
I'll go ahead and type them in, because I was writing them into myself too.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it defaults to that for some reason. That's weird. So, but okay, just dropped it into the everyone chat. So that first link, app.mydevices.com, go there, create your account, and walk through the experience for yourself. I think it'll be really great for you guys just to see. It doesn't cost anything. There's no limit. You can have access to it, indefinitely. But yeah, it just kind of really gets you the feeling of what it's like to get beyond that barrier, which is always what we're trying to do, is remove that friction early on in the sensor process. It's that, where do I buy the sensor? How do I turn the sensor on? How do I turn the gateway on? How do I make these things talk to each other? How do I get data to a platform? How do I visualize it the way that I want, right? Like with this, you're there already. Now you can focus on, okay, how do I solve my project? Which by the way, is the next kind of section in our checklist here, which is sensor questions. It's typically, what happens is, okay, this is great, this all works now, like which sensors are right for my project, and that's where we get on a call, we help consult with that and build the solution for you guys within a 30-minute phone call, and then we can get a proposal out. So anyways, yeah, any questions on that, guys, feel free to drop them in the chat. But yeah, it's a really cool thing that that we launched right before Christmas, actually, and are now fine-tuned it and are ready for the official launch here shortly. But yeah, Alex, anything you want to add, or anything?
No, we have a few questions, but this is actually really cool because even though I've seen this before, you run it like it's the first time, and I'm getting so into this. This is great. But let's dive into some of these questions. So can I send data into another app that I'm currently using today?
Yeah. Okay. So good question. So let me show you guys, because from a marketing side, our team has just done such a great job of creating visuals that explain what I try to say with words all the time. So let me just pull up our integrations section of our website. So universal API for sensor deployments. So this is a big part of what we do. Is the reality is that IoT platforms are great in general. Like, the visualization platform we've created is great to prove out the concept of visualizing data, seeing it on charts, basically validating, like, does this air quality sensor, does this temperature sensor meet the requirements for the project that I'm trying to solve? Does it give me the right data? Does the data need to be manipulated in any way with equations and all that? But at the end of the day, there's always some app or interface that the data needs to eventually go to once it's massaged the right way, I'll call it. And that's what we do at the core of everything. All this other stuff surrounding it is important because it enables businesses to be able to deploy, like the logistics services. Somebody's got to warehouse these sensors and nobody else is going to do it. So we do that for our customers. It's a big value add. The QR code, so that you could just scan it and it works. Yeah, that makes it easy so you can deploy. But at the core of what we do, our real IP lives in the software in the middle that connects thousands of sensors to thousands of platforms. So we normalize the data, we add business logic to the data, we make it useful and valuable, and then we build connectors out to those other apps. So when I look at some of our top clients like Sodexo, Aramark, Brightly, like all of Safety Culture, all these customers are feeding data into their apps. They have employees that are using these apps every day. They don't want to introduce them to a new app. They just want work orders to be kicked off based on sensor data, or they want inspection checklists to be populated through sensors as opposed to human beings, right? So yes, the short answer to the question is absolutely. We connect that. That's a big part of what we do, is taking this sensor library that you see here, all of these different sensors, and funneling them all through a single API as opposed to connecting to each of them individually within your third-party app. Next question.
Yeah. We'll keep it rolling here with them. All right.
Yeah.
Got another one. Can I use outside sensors?
Outside sensors, like outdoors, or like sensors from?
I'm pretty sure they mean sensors that are not in the store.
Yes. So
Both, actually, both. You can answer for both.
Yeah. I don't know why my brain went there, but yeah, you can. There's all kinds of different, like IP67 rated sensors, indoor, outdoor versions of everything. Yeah, just depending on the use case. There's sensors for literally everything, both indoors and out. But what I think we're talking about is bringing sensors through a third party. So I guess there's two answers to that question, because on the site here, first of all, if I go through our sensor catalog, you might already have a LHT65N temperature sensor from Dragino, or you might already have a hot drop or a vibration monitor from Advantech. You don't need to then buy more from us. You can make those sensors that you already have connect with our system. We just need some information from you, like app keys and things like that. So we can absolutely bring those in. Now, if you don't see the device that you have on the catalog and you're like, hey, that's the device that I want to use, you can also do that as well. We've got, that's what I was showing before, is we've got integration, HTTP, MQTT, Co-op, Azure, or through any, LoRa integration. We've even got gateway integration docs. So there's just documentation on whichever way you want to feed the data into our system. We can, there's just step-by-step instructions in each of these docs page that allow you to do that.
All right, let's see what else we got here. What are
Yeah, I
the
see one in the Zoom Q&A here. Can you talk about partner portal or partner process? So yeah, that's a great question. Let me go to the backend console, which I haven't shown yet. You don't get this as part of the free app. This is for partners only. So what I'll show here is, this is obviously have to be on a license plan to get access to this, because it's really fundamentally for commercial deployments and scaled deployments. But this is the partner portal. So you can see, like, if you're a partner of ours, you have your own realm, basically, with, you'd be able to see all of your customers that have accounts on your realm. So I can see Zach Thomas, that's his login info. That's the location that he has access to. That's all the sensors that are deployed in that location. There's also some reporting capabilities back here. So we use Power BI because we've got a Databricks connector integration in there that allows us to pull any data and shape it in any way. It's a beautiful tool. It's not just the tool, it's the way that we've restructured the data to make it compatible with the tool that allows us to do things like just different diagnostics and reporting within this backend portal. So I can see, how many sensor readings. I can see there's like an RSSI signal strength diagnostics here. But the cool part about this is a consolidated report that shows Dragino diagnostics, GlobalSat diagnostics, P&I, MoCo, all these different manufacturers in here. I can see the report. So it's a consolidated report that shows the diagnostics of everything. And this just happens to be an RSSI report. There's other reports for like door open, close, how long has the door been open, energy runtime, so these are, customizable reports that you can pull all the data from your realm and visualize it any way that you'd like. There's also device templates back here to modify the way that the device is being manipulated, I'll say, or the data is being manipulated. A temperature sensor, let's say like a door sensor, for example, you might want to do people counting. You might want to do just static open and close. You might want to do duration. So we can manipulate and add formulas into these device templates that allow, for different business logic. So this is the backend portal that allows you to kind of manage all of that, but also, request support from our team, order devices and things like that. So this is kind of the back end that holds everything together from an administrative standpoint for you guys. And then in terms of the partner process, we've got our plans and pricing back here. So partners start on the platinum plan, which gets you access to all of the software capabilities. So you get the app white labeled under your logo and colors. You get that back end console. You get the custom reporting capabilities that I showed. Open integrations, with the simulated, it's limited what you can do with the integrations, but you've got full access. There's also a REST API, which is not available in the free version, but you get access to that REST API. The big thing would also be some of the support. So we do weekly calls, weekly 30-minute project calls. So you get a dedicated account manager that gets on calls to discuss what projects you have, make sensor recommendations, and really gets you through those initial POCs and all of that. As you start to grow and scale, and we're seeing thousands of sensors, 10,000s of sensors on a regular basis, we then have our higher plans, our professional services, and our titanium tier, which comes with some of these other services like drop shipping directly to end customers, custom labeling, like we'll actually put inserts in our shipment boxes that are unique for your company that speak directly to your customers, and things like that. So those are some logistics services that are available on the higher tiers as you start to scale. But platinum is the starting point to just get a license to the system, get some support, get everything connected up, and get some sensors deployed to get your projects moving.
All right. Good stuff. I got another really good question. I think you're going to enjoy this one. This is someone who wrote an anonymous question. It's the second webinar I'm attending. My question to you is, what's your USP compared to other IoT platforms like ThingsWork?
It's the devices. It's the hardware, I would say, is the big thing. So keep in mind that when I look at our product list here, if I pull this down on our website, software, hardware, connectivity, and services. And under software, even we've got an app, a backend console, we've got payload decoders, we've got custom reports, Power BI, Databricks integration, and all of that. When I look at those other IoT platforms, I see a sensor app, and it pretty much stops there. You need to go find a LoRa network server and point it to the sensor app. You need to go find hardware and program it and provision it with app keys and app UIs and put the right firmware on it to feed it to the LoRa network and then feed it to the sensor app. Then if you want to do custom reporting, you need to build the integration between the sensor app to that reporting platform and tabularize and data cube and do all of this stuff to make it work in that custom reporting. If you want to build an integration to AWS, you need to build that, right? So now separately, there are LoRa network providers that make that portion of it easier. There are hardware providers who are, building these vertical solutions now that include an app that goes with it. So there's like these pieces of clumps that are molding together. But we do everything end to end. Like if you have a project and you need it deployed tomorrow or next week, we'll get it there. You can get something shipped out tomorrow. You can scan the QR code, turn it on, and it's deployed and done. You don't have to do any R&D. You don't have to do any programming, any provisioning. It's all done. And then when you staple on the services, this is really something that really differentiates us. We have a warehouse, a massive warehouse where we inventory product. We provision, we activate SIM cards, we activate LoRa network servers, we send out installers when needed. You tell us that this sensor needs to report every 20 minutes, not every 10 minutes, and we do that before shipping and then give you the configuration capabilities to update that later. So it's the physical labor and all those services as well over here that really also provide a lot of benefit. So it's a hard question to answer because it's not a one-to-one comparison between us and like a platform provider, because there's just so much more that we do. But I hopefully answered your question in a fair way that kind of shed some light on, in my opinion anyways. So.
And guys, as you're watching, please keep these questions coming. We've had a lot of the webinars, but I think this might be like the best question, best QA we've had in a long time. These are really good, what's coming in right now. So another one.
No offense to people on earlier sessions, by the way, your questions were good too.
Yeah, no offense, but these are
really good.
For your professional services that you stated, can you send people out to help with installation and maintenance? Could you, that you said you could send people out to help people with installation and maintenance. Can you dive more into the details on this?
Yeah, no, great question. So yeah, this is, we've basically got an army of tens of thousands of installers at this point. And we've built these templates that coincide with our software and our hardware and everything that we do, right? We have this process that we've trained them on so that, whatever the project is, they can go out and get it deployed. And like we do with everything, we want to consolidate all of this. So we are the one-stop shop for all of these different things that may or may not be required in a deployment. Sometimes you need professional install, sometimes you don't. You can send 5 temperature sensors to a restaurant and there's somebody there that knows how to use a phone decently well, they can get set up and no problem. However, if you send sensors to 100 restaurants because a franchisee owns 100 of them and they're making decisions way up top here and the GMs at each one are just like, I don't know, this box just arrived and I don't know what the hell it is, right? That happens. The installers are crucial because they're going to get in there, get it done and get out. And then reports are going to go to the guy who made the decision up top and he's going to be like, yes, this is working, right? This is good. If you try to send stuff out to each individual location and rely on them to do their own installs, some will do it and some won't. But what's going to happen is you're going to get these broken reports and this mixed feedback, and this project's going to get shut down by somebody. So that's why the installation is so critical. So we provide that as an option to you. So if you say, we want to professionally install all these locations, we give you a rate and you either pass that through to your customer or you mark it up. But we're going to handle all the logistics behind the scenes. We're going to collect some info from you, like what are the locations, how many sensors, what's the name of the assets that they're going through. And that's all done through an intake form. Once we collect that, we then have a process where we dispatch everybody out. We set the timelines. We're project managing it. We're watching, it all ties into our backend system. So we can see when the installers are dispatched, when they're going to be done. They send back pictures of the install so we can validate everything's done right. And then we check the box and then it's we go from there. So we're providing that behind the scenes. And these installers, based on what you want from us, they can show up as your, on your behalf, basically. They don't have to mention myDevices. They don't have to mention, who they're with personally. They can go on your behalf. It's kind of part of this all-inclusive white labeling of the offering, right? So they'll show up, as part of your organization or on behalf of your organization. So, which is a really, really unique part of that as well. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question. If there's more you'd like me to elaborate on, just let me know specifically. But yeah, hopefully that got you a good answer.
Oh, that was good stuff. I think And I think these are great calls because we get to give so much information and get to answer these Q&As. But, unfortunately, we're on the side of things where we can't see you and we can't hear enough or about your projects really to, so our goal is really, hey, what's the next step? So I would love to hear a little bit more about the projects that you guys are working on and speak to a bit more about the sensors that we could provide, maybe provide a sensor consulting session for you guys. I mean, I know we're running a little bit short on time here. Cam, can I see your screen?
Take it away.
Okay. So yes. So I think next steps, would love for everybody to grab a time here, mydevices.com/Alex, book a time to speak with me and Cam. We can speak very much more to your individual projects, show you a little bit more on the white label application, maybe some things we didn't get into today, and answer some more questions. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Cam, you got anything else before goodbye?
No, thank you so much. And sorry, Alex, I totally hijacked the session, but great questions today, everybody. Thank you so much for participating. It makes these so much more fun. Check out our YouTube channels, follow me on LinkedIn. I'm trying to post as much as I can to get all this info out. So follow me on LinkedIn if you're, get some snippets of this type of stuff more consistently. Check out our website, check out Try Free, but most importantly, mydevices.com/Alex, and we'll get on a one-on-one session with you and get you sorted out and put a plan together for your IoT goals in 2023.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Cool. Thanks. Bye.